I was actually very pleasantly surprised by the new event Kfir C.10 that was added to the game. Being placed at 13.0, it has things it shouldn't have, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's nerfed in the future. The Kfir C.10's top speed is 2,376 kilometers per hour, but on the deck it does max out at about Mach 1.2 just due to the airframe. For a fighter being placed at 13.0, this speed is actually relatively average. Although it is a Kfir, so it does have pretty good engine thrust for its BR bracket, and it has pretty good acceleration. But since it's pretty much average, I'm just going to give the Kfir a 6 out of 10 for its speed. As for its maneuverability / agility, this thing can move pretty well. It has really good first turn G-pull, and I've been able to pull 14 G sustained on the first turn. When you're in a down tier, you shouldn't have any issue going toe to toe with basically anything except F-16s, but if you're up tiered, good luck trying to dogfight basically anything because they'll either outmaneuver you or outspeed you. Although if you are a really good pilot, you can be pretty competitive at every BR bracket with a Kfir, you just have to know how to use it correctly. But since it's pretty reliant on the BR bracket you're actually placed into, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for agility. Moving on to its offensive capabilities, it does come equipped with a 30mm cannon, and it comes equipped with 4 pylons that can carry missiles. You get access to Python 3 IR missiles and Derby Fox 3 missiles. The Pythons are all aspect 40G Mach 3.5 missiles, although they don't have IRCCM. Meanwhile, the Derbys are 40G Fox 3 missiles, and they're also known for their very high loft angle compared to the other Fox 3s in the game. Both of these missiles are considered on the lower end of quality, although the Derbys do have a good loft angle, so if the enemy's trying to push toward the deck, it actually isn't that bad. When you're down tiered, this thing is an absolute beast because you do get Fox 3s in a BR bracket where they don't exist. Although when you're up tiered, you're basically outmatched in every aspect. So again, since this vehicle is very reliant on which BR is placed into, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 for offense. Moving on to defense, it does feature 72 countermeasures that you can just pick and choose. They are standards, so there's nothing really special about them. You also do get RWR that's very good for 13.0. Although you are stuck with the Kfir flare mechanism where it kind of just chucks it to the right side of your aircraft. So sometimes missiles just end up ignoring the flare mechanism. Although this is still pretty good defense for a 13.0, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Moving on to its cast ability, it can carry 2 paveway bombs. You can get GBU-12s and GBU-49s. You also of course get dummunitions, and a star of the show is a 3,000-pound demolition bomb, which is both very good at taking out bases and very good at taking out large groups of enemies. Another really fun thing you can do is use the Zuni rockets to take out some enemies sitting still in ground RB. You're also very multi-role, so you can just take out a bunch of enemies and play anti-casts. And of course you do have that 30mm that shouldn't have any issue taking out light targets. But sadly this thing is lacking a lot of pylons necessary to perform really good at casts. And being placed at 12.7 is pretty outmatched. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 for cast ability. As for its electronics, it does get access to a Lightning 3 pod, RWR, and an amazing radar. In fact, it gets ASA radar. Placed at 13.0, that should not exist, because it also gets HMD/HMS and 4 data links. So since it's a 13.0 with all of that stuff, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10 for electronics. Moving on to durability, this thing can take some cannon rounds, although if you're hit with a missile, it's goodbye. It is a delta wing, so that's what you can expect, and this thing really does get affected by even the smallest amount of damage, so I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10 for durability. Moving on to difficulty, you do need to know how to use Fox 3s, of course, and with that you also have to know how to dodge Fox 3s. In addition, the 30mm is actually very slow, so it can be hard to hit moving targets. Everything else is pretty straightforward because it can just bomb and it can multi-roll. So with 1 being the hardest and 10 being the easiest, I'm going to give this thing a rating of a 4. I was actually pleasantly surprised at how much I actually like this Kfir. It is relatively fun to play, although it is quite challenging with only 4 missiles. Although when you get down tiered, this thing is an absolute blast. So with 10 being the most fun, I'm going to give the Kfir a 6 out of 10 for fun. Moving over to the value section, this is an event vehicle and you can only really get it through the event or the Gaijin market. And this is a pretty good event vehicle, all things considered. It's not a premium, so it won't get you through the entire line, but it's an easy way to access Fox 3s for those new players who want to try them out. It also does offer a cast option for those Israel players who did not grind out the air tree. So for its value, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10 just because it's not overpowered, but it's still useful. And partially because the grind took forever with this event. This gives the overall rating of the Kfir C.10 a 55 out of 100. On my grading scale, this gives it a C rating. And if you're looking to sell the Kfir C.10, I bet it's probably going to go for about 60 to 70 Gaijin coin.